I want to introduce and invite Chairman Joe James of the Yurok to come and speak. Thank you, Chairman.
Before we get started, I'd like my team to come up here and join me on the side here. Again, it's an honor and a privilege, Madam Secretary. We believe in balance, we believe in prayer, we believe in ceremony, we believe in the Creator puts us here for a reason. Everything we did today with the tour, first thing came to me was balance of the work we're doing. You could see the partners, the work that we're doing with the Park Service, state parks, everybody involved. It's an honor and a privilege here today to have you here at Yurok Country and to work hand in hand also with our Congressman Huffman. Thank you for your leadership. And again, as indigenous people, I also want to thank the state parks, Victor. I want to acknowledge you, brother. All the indigenous people in uniform that are also working with the state parks. Everything we're doing here as a whole and as a group, as one. And I think that's what you got to see here, Madam Secretary, is the great work here we're doing on the North Coast, the beautiful land that we live in, Yurok Country. We're all pulling on the same string for the love of the Creator and Mother Earth that she provides for us. But before I hand the mic off, I want to sing a song. With love and respect, Madam Secretary, you know how hard your job is. Creator answered our prayers, the work that you've got to do across the United States, across Indian country. We're here to support you and we stand behind you and thank you for your leadership. Before I hand it off, we do have a gift we wanted to give you on behalf of the Yurok tribal government, its people and its citizens.
It's an honor to meet you in person. I come from here, and I have the beauty and honor to work with the state issues.
Thank you, Councilor Provo. And thank our staff here for today. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Watsi hopa duhiname etzatiwitsa shui mihanu. I'm so honored to be here, Chairman James. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I just it's hard not to look around, right? It's hard not to feel like you want to walk into the forest and not come back. It's just such a beautiful place, and I appreciate the tribe's willingness to work with the state and the federal government to make sure that we are approaching things in the right way. And I just appreciate all of you being here today with us. Also want to recognize all of the career staff who are here, the National Park Service and the state parks. Thank you for choosing this as your career path. I am so sorry. I feel that, first of all, the tribes who have been here for millennia and have cared about this land, the original stewards of this land, I feel very grateful that those of you who are here with your uniforms on have made a commitment to also be stewards of this land, and know that we're so grateful for the work that you do, and we couldn't do this without any of you. So thank you very much. I also would like to thank Chair Mallory. She has traveled with me these last few days. You know, whenever we talk about or we mention the Center for Environmental Quality, I want to say environmental equality. For some reason, that just comes out of my mouth, and in a way that seems also true, right? That we want everyone to have equal access to the beauty and the goodness that comes from our natural resources and the lands that all of us love so much. So I'm very grateful to you, Brenda, for being here, and also, yes, my good friend, Chairman Congressman Huffman. We were buddies on the Natural Resources Committee, and I always felt so proud that he was ready and willing to speak up very vigorously for our oceans and our lands, and thank you for your mentorship while I was in Congress. Before we begin, or before I go into my remarks, I just want to reflect on the wildfires that are having a devastating impact on the communities here in Northern California, and my heart goes out to the residents of Greenville and to all of those other towns that have lost homes, businesses, to the Dixie Fire and other fires that are burning across the West. We know that it's no longer fire season, but fire years. This is a natural occurrence now because of climate change. Hotter, drier weather, our firefighters in harm's way every time we turn around, and so we'll do our best. I know that the frequency of fires in urban areas is impacting more homes, businesses, and communities each year. To make matters even more difficult, persistent drought conditions in the West have strained water supplies, impacted farmers, ranchers, fish, and wildlife, and tribal and non-tribal communities alike. With so little room for error, we must remain steadfast in our commitment to wildland fire preparedness, mitigation, and resilience. At the Department of the Interior, we're doing everything we can to work with states, tribes, and local governments to ease the pain of these communities and support the workforce. I want to commend the dedicated firefighters, scientists, first responders, and professionals who work every day to protect our lands and communities. And I am not the only one. President Biden, Vice President Harris, and governors from across the West, including right here in California, have all joined together to voice their support for the brave men and women on the front lines, and they've united in calling for giving them more tools, more training to protect our families, our lands, and our planet from the increasing threat of fire. I'm proud of the steps we're taking at the Interior to hire more firefighters and convert more than 500 of our seasonal firefighters into permanent career positions this year. This will also support more fuels management, work to be accomplished when fires aren't burning. We're also working to increase frontline firefighters' pay in response to the President's call to invest in the wildland fire workforce. This includes action to ensure that no federal firefighter will make less than $15 an hour this year. The bipartisan infrastructure deal includes nearly $1.5 billion for Interior's wildland fire management programs so that we can improve firefighter pay, reduce hazardous fuels on the landscape, and restore land after the fires take place. The deal also makes historic investments to restore and leverage nature-based infrastructure to protect communities and our environment. At Interior, we know that nature is essential to the health, the well-being, and the prosperity of every family and every community in America. From the bounty of the Great Plains to vast coastal forests like we are right now, our lands and waters define who we are and who we are as a nation and who we actually want to be. Our communities deserve fresh air to breathe, clean water to drink, healthy and dependable economies, and, of course, a livable planet. Since the first days of his administration, President Biden has been committed to an all-of-government approach to confronting climate change, conserving our public lands and waters, and creating thousands of good-paying jobs in the process. As part of that effort, President Biden has issued a call to action that we work together to conserve, connect, and restore 30% of our lands and waters by 2030 for the sake of our economy, our health, and our well-being. Earlier this year, the Interior Department and our sister agencies outlined the America the Beautiful initiative, which is a vision for a collaborative, inclusive, and locally led effort toward conservation. And it's partnerships like Redwood's Rising that form the backbone of this crucial effort. The ongoing work between Redwood National and State Parks and Save the Redwood Leagues to thin thousands of acres of overstocked logged overlands within the parks is essential to conserving and restoring these towering forests. This ongoing work also seeks to ensure that surrounding wildlife have healthy ecosystems for their own survival by removing miles of former logging roads and stream crossings that affect salmon and steelhead. These efforts will enhance fish habitats, a win-win for the forest, the fish, and all of those who enjoy this beautiful landscape. The project embraces the principles of resiliency and landscape connectivity. This work accelerates restoration and prepares park landscapes for the impacts of drought, fire, disease, invasive species, and climate change, all key components of this administration's commitment to protecting our natural resources and landscapes. This collaborative approach to increase old-growth forest connectivity is a model to be followed. By engaging with tribes, local stakeholders, groups, and community members, this partnership truly represents the strength of our partnerships in our efforts to protect our lands and waters. I am so proud of the efforts that the National Park Service and our partners are pursuing to advance a vision of preservation that builds on the nation's best conservation traditions, creates jobs, and supports healthy communities. And thank you again so much for having me, and we're happy to try to answer any questions that you might have.